Hey guys, Tim Grittani here. Most of you know me as the trader who turned $1,500 of my own money into over $2.7 million in roughly 4 years. In just a few days, my DVD, Trading Tickers, the long and short of it, will finally be released, but before it is, I want to share one more free clip with you. My DVD teaches the rules and strategies I have developed throughout my trading career that have helped make my success possible, and in this clip, I'll be sharing one of my short selling strategies. One misconception a lot of people have about me is that all my success has come from trading over-the-counter stocks. But in reality, I've now made about $1 million trading listed stocks and continue to trade them daily. The clip you're about to watch is from Chapter 10 of my DVD, Shorting into Major Resistance. I hope you enjoy this clip, and if you're interested in learning more about what makes my success possible, check out the links below for discounted prices. The final example we'll be looking at is BIOC. BIOC was on my radar because yesterday was a huge update for it and it traded major volume. It was one of the top results on my typical scanner that I run every night. This morning, BIOC is having a huge gap up. It's on track to open in the 380s. When it was spiking yesterday on day one, I knew that I wanted to try to play off of either the 370 area or the 410 area. My lean was towards 410 because that was the days where the bigger volume had traded. Today, since it is gapping up huge, that answers my question. It's already through 370, so I'm going to play off of 410. After BIOC's first big run and fade, it perked back up off of the high $2 area and for 2 days rebounded, topping out of that 410 on major volume. So today, I expect 410 should give it trouble again, and I plan to short into a morning spike, risking off of that area. Market opens now. And immediately we do start spiking towards $4. Since I'm not sure if the spike will get all the way there, I take a little bit early of a starter here at 396. Like I mentioned earlier in the chapter, I will take early starters. I'm okay doing that. I tried to put in an ad at 405, just 5 cents below my risk level, but I couldn't fill any. I threw in another order down at 402, but the stock just pulled too quickly. I'm leaving those orders sitting there though because right now this is just the first hard pull retesting that opening price area. If we pop back up through 4, I'm okay with those orders filling. And that first dip did hold well, and we start pushing back through 4. My 402 is filled, and right now my 405 order is filling. And I'm now up to 60,000 shares from a 401 average. We very briefly perked through 410 there, tested 411. And yes, it perked through my risk level by a penny, but this is another situation where that's not the end of the world. That's not freaking me out. If this were to consolidate in the 3s for a little bit now, or low 4s, and then build back up and start breaking through again, I would be downsizing, or I would be cutting my entire loss. But that little penny perk through doesn't scare me, and it's encouraging to me that it slammed right back down. I am sitting with another ad order right now at 407, just below that high a day in that 410 area. I started filling a little bit there on that last push back through 4, but didn't get my entire order filled. But I am up to 67,800 shares from a 4017 average. BIOC again fails to hold 4 and is dipped back into the 390s. Now the low 390s. So this is starting to look pretty weak. And I do cover a small piece there just to get my size down a little bit. As we crack under 390 into the 380s, I start paying myself a little bit more along the way. I've now gotten myself down to 54,000 shares. I'm taking off some of those early shares that I had shorted at 396. So now my average is 4032 on the remaining 54,000 shares. My order is still sitting there for 407 to sell more, but I doubt that we get a push that high. Right now, BIOC just having kind of a weak rebound off of that 380 area. But that did briefly crack below low of day. And even though it's perking now into the 390s, I'm still not really all that worried about this stock. I'm really happy with the way that 410 held. and I have a very, very clear risk, and it's only 7 cents a share. We continued dropping. We cracked under 380, and I covered up another piece at 377 and another piece there in the low 370s. So now I'm down to 42,000 shares remaining, about 2/3 of my original position. Taking off these little pieces along the way will help me stay more patient later with the remainder of my shares. I start covering more shares at 364. I'm down to 36,000 shares now, slightly over half position. And the gains are adding up along the way. I was very comfortable going big on this one because I really trusted that 410 risk area. I knew that my risk was under control. It was less than a dime a share. And the stock is so liquid. It's already traded 6.8 million shares on the day. So I can get in and out of that kind of size with ease. We're getting a bit of a rebound now off of the low 360s. If I were thinking about an add in this situation, I'd be wanting this to get as close to that last failed perk as possible, the 395 area. I could even possibly move my risk down to there at this point. I put in another cover order at 366 and 367. I took off 1/3 of my remaining shares about, getting myself down to 24,000 shares. The reason I covered so many here was because that was the first hard rebound the stock has had, really. I don't know if we're going to start grinding and consolidating above 360 for a while. So I want to make sure that I'm mostly paid, and if this does happen to grind back on me, I've already locked in quite a bit in profits. Covering there also gives me the flexibility to add bounces if we do get any good bounce up towards that 395 area. But because I've covered up a lot, because I've paid myself a lot, I can be patient with the rest of my shares now. I have nothing to be afraid of. Right now, BIOC is just kind of going sideways in the low 370s, stuck in a mini channel between the 363 low and that 380 last rebound high. We start to get a bit of a perk up here now, and it looks like 380 is going to get tested. Briefly, it breaks through right now. It does slam right back under, but it looks like this rebound might start ramping back up towards that 390 mark where I want to reshort some shares. First attempt is met with a hard pull. But the mid 370s are holding well into these dips so far. We're into the 380s again. And I know right now if I still had my full size, I'd be really stressed out. I'd be wondering, what the heck did I do? Why didn't I take any off down in the 360s? What if this is starting to grind back on me? It's a lot easier for fear to take over. But right now, I am so comfortable. And if anything, I'm thinking about adding into this strength, not covering. Briefly in the high 380s there. So we are getting close to that level, that last perk top. In another account, I actually did put some ads on right here. BIOC cracks back under 380 for a minute here. It's really just a choppy, slow consolidation right now. And then we get a hard crack, right back down into the 360s. That's a bad failure right there for BIOC. To be right back on its lows like that. Now it definitely looks like I could use that 395 as my new risk, or I could even use that 388 area where that last spike perked up at. As this crack back towards the lows was happening, I did cover up all of my ads that I put on in the other account. I know I don't have that on video to show you, but it really was just a quick scalp trade for me. I think I made 10 to 15 cents a share on it overall. I was kind of conservative with my covers. And meanwhile, I'm just sitting back on my 24,000 that I'm still holding from the 405 average. I'm hoping that this will pull back down towards the green-red area, previous closing price of 336. Since the 60s are still holding, I look to take off another small piece of BIOC and I get myself down to 20,000 shares. Just in case this turns into a double bottom here. We had another brief perk right there. We're testing the 370 area again. So it's trying to reverse off of its lows right now. But it slams right back into the low 360s. Testing that 363 low a day. And we snap under and head to new lows. Quick dime a share washout right there. So I take off another 5,000 shares into it. And another 5,000 shares into the 340s. I'm paying myself into the washes. And I'm left with only 10,000 shares remaining now. One thing I haven't preached enough through this DVD is that what I'm doing right now works for me. It keeps me emotionally comfortable, but do what is right for you. You do not have to scale in and out the same way that I do. For a second there, a large offer came in on BIOC. Saw it flash a couple times at 350. And there it is again at 352 now. The offer gets taken out, but I am thinking about how that didn't just crack that 340s level. It couldn't scare it down. It's testing again right now, near that 346 current low. But again, 346 is holding. So at this point, I decide I want out the rest. I put in an order at 348 for my last 10,000 shares, and so far I've filled about half of them. I don't like the inability to break below 346, and it really is just a dime above green-red at this point, which is a support that could very well hold. So I'm happy to pay myself the rest. I wasn't filling the rest of my 348s, so I smacked the offer, took off the rest, and I'm flat with about a 10% gain, which I am very happy about given the size that I played. Checking the end-of-day chart now. Once again, I wasn't as patient as I could have been. Shortly after I covered the last of my shares, we did dip into the 330s, and then I failed to reshort on the rebound into the mid-360s. I was hoping that rebound would take us a little bit closer to that previous 380 area, so my risk wouldn't be quite as wide. End of day, BIOC did go red. It had that big crack and tank. And since I don't short weakness, I missed that move. It dropped the rest of the way without me. But that's all right. I captured a great piece of this trade. I'm very happy with what I accomplished. And I'm looking forward to the next one to do it all over again.